Listening to all of you, if there's a preposition, an adverb that hasn't been said that I can offer, an insight, a perspective, a nod, an expression of gratitude, I think you covered, all of you, and appropriately, the many, many people that are responsible for this moment. And this is a moment on a journey to reconcile the original sin in the state of California, and that's the issue of housing and affordability. It touches more things in more ways on more days than any other issue. It is at the core of the expression of so much of the frustration many of us have about our state and our future and the fragility of the moment we're living in. Our competitiveness, our ability to solve so many challenging issues. It's not lost on me that there are a bunch of kids right outside this room as we're competing with their joy, with our own. I think I ran for mayor here in San Francisco, making the point that needs to be made that there were more dogs in San Francisco than there were children, because we couldn't afford to raise families in the city and county of San Francisco because of this issue. It has been a stubborn issue, decade after decade after decade, just fighting and talking about it and fighting each other in the process. Meanwhile, folks started moving out. Folks started thinking about moving out. Folks got kicked out. Folks ended out on the streets and sidewalks in record numbers because we couldn't get out of our own way. At the end of the day, society becomes how we behave. We are our behaviors. End of the day, got no one else to blame but ourselves. It happened on our watch, all of this. And I say that to make this point that we all have to reconcile that. We need to all be a little bit more accountable to this crisis of affordability. And I think what makes today a special day is this is a big moment as we begin, in the spirit of all the comments that were made, to take responsibility, not to give the same speech and expect the same applause, but to begin to do something about it. And these sets of bills, there's 38 bills I'm signing today. I'm just going to spare you 36 I'll do privately. I'll focus on the two big ones that unite us all here at the podium. But this is a big package. These bills matter. They go across the spectrum, not just what we've talked about, but it goes to issues of ADUs, goes to the issue of farm worker housing, goes to the issue, Ben, thank you, of transparency and accountability. Accountability. Because the biggest issue now we have is not the issues that are being resolved today as it relates to land use and CEQA and streamlining and prevailing wage and skilled and trained and all the related issues, including, thank you, Assemblywoman, financing and state support, $14 billion just in the last 2 years, specifically for state support of affordable housing. It's now about results. And that's where I go back with my mayoral hat on. I've said it 100 different times in 100 different ways. Localism's determinative. That the state vision will be realized at the local level. Cities and communities all across this state. And that's where we need to see results. That's where we need to see accountability. We need to see them drive this. You got the tools now. And I don't say that as a warning. I say that sternly. Directionally. Ask the folks down in Huntington Beach. Ask the folks here in San Francisco. That letter that HCD sent, it's not because we don't love you. It's because we love you. And you're going to see more of that until we see more housing, more production, more folks working, growth and inclusion. And I think that's a mantra. Prevailing wage, skilled and trained, that's about inclusion. We've focused so often about growth, we've forgotten this part of it. And so I love to be part of this. I want this photo. Jay, congratulations, man. It's amazing what the Carpenters were able to do. Andrew and Abstentia and the trades, thank you. My brother Larry, it's good to see you as always. It's good to see us all up here. Remarkable leadership by Buffy Wicks. Remarkable leadership by Buffy Wicks. She never took no for an answer. Ever. Senator Caballero, another remarkable leader who's, we were just at the podium, and big round of applause for Wendy. For Senator Caballero, I'm going to talk about Wendy. Thank you as well. For driving this path and creating a pathway. And I appreciate both of you recognizing Senator Atkins and recognizing Speaker Rendon, because they create the conditions that create the pathways to make this possible. To all your colleagues, it's amazing. How many of you showed up? By the way, bipartisan group of folks. That's right. Mm-hmm. Which is remarkable as well. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you taking the time to be here. You all belong here, and you all come up here in a moment when we sign these bills. Look, we're producing some results, and now we need to see them manifested. And I just want to, again, express gratitude in closing, not just for this, but I hope folks have paid a little attention to what's been going on in this state in the last few months. It was a week ago we signed a package of bills, and and this gets to Senator McGuire, who's just been appropriately recognized for being the rock star that he is. We last week had the opportunity to sign an unprecedented package of climate bills. And I love that we talked in terms of that integration here today as it relates to housing, jobs linkage, as it relates to climate and housing, all these policies being interrelated. But that package was foundational and determinative in terms of setting a new tone and tenor in terms of California's leadership. This package on housing, the work we've done together on homelessness, I know you want to see the results of that. But this legislature, what they've done, what they've accomplished, there's no legislature in this country like the California legislature. And I mean that. These folks get it, but here's the difference. They get it done. I have the privilege of working with them, and I cannot impress upon you more how proud I am for their example and their faith and devotion to this cause we hold dear, and that's California. And so I say that as a point of pride, not as governor, but as a guy who lives here, that I'll put these folks up against any legislature in the United States of America. Our legislature deserves a big round of applause collectively for all they've done this year. I mean it. So, to all of you, thank you. I'm not going to take any more time. You're all exhausted, and we're out of time. But I do want to ask the members of the legislature to come on up, because we've got to make room for them. Senator Wiener, notably included.
Wait, I know what you got.
Jay. Hey, Jay, you get up here, man.
Stop talking. You gotta.
Larry, get up here. Get up. Danny, you good?